Good afternoon, Sir
Hello,
Ken.
sir.
Thank you so much for allowing us to conduct this interview with you. This interview is part of our major requirements of our subject, JEC
Mm.
16, which is also known as Art Appreciation. We are very honored that you have shared your precious time with us. And if it's not too much to ask, sir, as we have stated in our consent form, would it be okay to record the entire interview?
All right.
Okay, so how are you today, sir?
I'm good.
Can you tell us a bit of your background and how you got into art?
So I actually started with traditional art and then I moved on to digital art and I am usually known in school as the editorial cartoonist because I am involved in the publishing organization which is making tabloids, newspaper for the school. And I started out art when I was inspired by my cousin, who is also an artist. So that's it.
Okay, so moving on to our next question. What is your favorite subject or themes to portray and why?
So since I am an editorial cartoonist, most of the subjects and the themes that I usually make is related to real life or the political news. So most of my artworks are related to that area po.
How has your artistic style evolved over time?
Well, at first I of course started with stick figures, which where we all started, and then I moved on into creating uh well-defined characters which has shapes, volumes, and mass and sizes. And then since um I met a few clients, they they have their own they prefer to have their own styles, so I have to adapt to changes. So I have to be versatile um to to please my clients. So that's how I got um that's how I improved with my artistic styles.
Do you prefer to work in a specific medium?
Specific medium. Yes, yes. I actually prefer drawing in a digital medium instead of traditional mediums because in terms of digital mediums, you actually have tools which has, for example, the undone button in which when you make a mistake, you can just press undo and it will erase the mistake that you made. Unlike in traditional where if there is a stain, then you can't remove it anymore. That's why I prefer the digital medium.
How do you use color and composition to convey meaning?
How do can you repeat that?
How do you use color and composition to
The
convey meaning?
color. Well, in making an art, for an example, is animation, where at first, before animating, you have to do a storyboard. A storyboard is like a really rough drawing before finally making final output. So in the storyboard, you have to think which colors you will use. Like for example, if there is a certain mood in that scene, like if the animation in the animation, if if the character is happy, then you must use bright colors, which makes the audience capture the scene. And if the scene is serious, then you would use the darker darker colors because it also captures the attention of the audience. So that's how I use their color.
Have you ever been involved in community art projects?
Yes, and the recent activity that I entered is the in the organization of Waway Saway. He is a Talaandig artist, both a musician and a painter. So what? So my role in that part is to be just a member in the Bukidnon Local Artist, which is a group of artists in Bukidnon. And in that event, we entered a competition in the title of the Guinness World of Record of the most soil painters, in which Bukidnon won first place as now the world's most soil painters. So that's my recent activity.
Yes, I've actually seen a post of that in Facebook. Our next question is, what do you think is the best thing about being an artist?
The best thing about being an artist is, unlike other jobs, um, before you get hired, um, people will, I mean, the employer will ask a lot of requirements before they allow you to work in their company. And if you are an artist, you don't need those. You kind of don't need those things because what they want is the skill, not the papers. You don't even need to be a graduate as long as you have the skills in specifically both in traditional and also in human to computer skill. And the best thing about being an artist is, for example, getting a project which your client is from other nations, and if they hire you, for example, um, I was tasked to make a 5-second animation, and the pay is 10K to 20K, and that was just for a 5-second animation. And if you're dedicated in art, then you can actually make more than that. Imagine making 20K in 1 month, and a 5-second animation can be done not even a whole week. So if you actually make an animation um, more than that, then you will earn a lot.
So, what are some challenges that you have faced as an artist?
Challenges. Um, for me personally, I am very lazy, so I always procrastinate. And when there is a project, I couldn't finish all of them, so I couldn't or earn that much. And there's also pressure in school, so time management is really difficult when you want to make art and while you are also still a student. So that's it for me for now.
And then for our last question, what piece of advice can you give to students who aspire to be just like you?
For those students, um I would tell them to uh, continue doing art even if people think that it's not good enough, because over time you will learn from the audience that their criticisms are important in improving your art, and exposure is also really important in ano school. So if you are an artist, it's best to expose yourself to organizations because you will be recommended by the teachers as well to represent the school. In some experiences that I have is I've been represented in schools, and I have been traveling from one place to another like Camigen and Dumaguete. You will experience national level competitions, and the school will sponsor you, and um, exposures will also attract money for you because there are actually a lot of clients who are looking for artists online. That's it.
Thank you very much, sir, for your very comprehensive and meaningful responses. We definitely learned so much from you. And as a token of our appreciation, we'll be sending you a
Yes,
simple gift card or through
yes, dapat
GCash.
pag-ML.
Again, thank you so much for sharing your time with us, and rest assured that all the information we gathered from this interview will be used responsibly.
Um, so